So I figured to, kick off uh, the actual content on the channel. I'd start off with telling a personal story. So this is going to be me going over the tale of my first experience with psychedelic mushrooms um, when I was 16 years old. So to premise this, my mom and stepdad had briefly separated when I was 15. They got back together. In the meantime, I had made some uh, more bohemian friends. I lived in Asheville, North Carolina at the time, and I had started smoking pot. Fooled around with it for a couple months, maybe. I was a kid still, and decided to do mushrooms. And my stepbrother Nick, his mom was renting a houseboat for the weekend at a lake and about an hour away. And he invited me to go with him. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to eat this chocolate that I bought. Of course, keep in mind, I'm 16, I've never done psychedelics before. And I, you know, um, I have no idea what I'm getting into. I don't know bad trips or a thing. So I, wasn't. Wasn't thinking that was a possible outcome. So we end up going, and I have this chocolate and this tinfoil in my coat pocket, and it's kind of rainy, it's dreary. We're on the way there, and we decide to stop at Walmart because we are going to buy a basketball because they have a basketball court, and it's basically where these houseboats are. Think an RV park, but it's houseboats on the water. There were RVs there too, but we were in a houseboat. And so while Nick and his mom were in the store shopping for basketball, I said I have to go to the bathroom, and I ate the mushroom chocolate in the bathroom stall and threw the foil away in the trash can. And it tasted like one of those really kind of shitty, like bunny stamped chocolate coins. The ones you can tell are kind of cheap. They're not that great. Um, and with like crumbles in it, which of course were mushrooms. Um, so walk out of Walmart. We're driving around and don't think anything of it. And they go through drive through, and it's been probably about half hour, and I start feeling weird. Auditory at first. The music starts sounding weird. His mom was playing Sublime. I had never heard Sublime at the time. I grew up only allowed to listen to like Christian and country music. So, I had a lot of experiences with music in my teens. Uh, and I just started giggling, and I got tickled and just started laughing. And his mom looks back at me and she's like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Oh, nothing. I told myself a joke." Okay. Um, well, so we end up at the houseboat. It's pouring rain when we get off, and I'm, wearing a coat. We go into the houseboat and everything. We're drenched. We start, unpacking stuff, and we step out onto the back porch. And I'm feeling it at this point. Like stuff's moving. Like I'm feeling groovy. I just feel great. And his mom turns to look at me and is like, "Oh, honey, your jacket's soaked. Let me take it." And for some reason, after standing on this back porch in the thundering, pouring rain, looking out at this lake with a spotlight on the porch of the boat beaming down into the water, I felt like Captain Ahab. For whatever reason, I was Captain Ahab, and he spoke like Sean Connery. So his mom goes, "Trevor, your jacket's soaked. Let me take it for you." I go, "Oh, it's nothing. It's fine." No. She just looks at me and she's like, "Okay." I was like, "Fine, it's fine." reflexively doing this, not intentionally, like just going. And I realized like I'm starting to geek out a little bit, and I'm like, I have to use the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm coming up hard. I mean, like the walls are like I'm rocking and rolling, and I just am elated, and I look in the mirror, and I had struggled a lot with depression. I had come off of stimulants. I got put on Ritalin at a young age, and kicked them in middle school, right when my hormones were coming in. I suffered terrible suicidal depression when I was like 13 or 14. Other environmental factors didn't help, but we'll put it that way. So it had been a long time since I felt good about myself. And I looked in the mirror and I was smiling. I was beaming, pupils like sweat, and I just elated. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was so damn happy. And it just occurred to me, it just dawned on me, it flooded my body. And I looked at myself in the mirror, smiling, happy. And I said, Trevor, I love you. You can feel this way all the time. And I believe consciously that was the first moment, the first instance that I had ever really told myself that I loved me. And it was profoundly significant. And that actually stuck with me. That I carried that through quite permanently. But so we decided to go for a walk. After that, I'm just on top of the world, and it stopped raining. It was still wet, and I got this just transcendent feeling. And I remember walking and talking to my stepbrother, and I was like, man, I just feel like a groovy college professor. Like I just had all the answers, but I was laid back and was just wanting to share it with the world because I had just become enlightened. Like the universe had opened to me, and I was one with myself. And that experience has occurred on psychedelics again, rarely. I think 3 times, and it's been very significant each time, and it's always the same feeling. It's that I am who I was, I am, and I always will be. Kind of the collective, if I can conceptualize this for you, it's kind of the collective of, if you were consciously aware of your full past, your full present, and your full future, in acceptance and acknowledgement of all of it, simply witnessing as a witness, like an observer, your life as it occurs. And it just, that ridiculous experience, that euphoria, you know, just kept rolling. We ended up walking back in, and his little half brother Noah was there, and Noah was like 2.5 and was just starting to kind of talk. For whatever reason, my friends and I had this stupid thing, random saying that we would say Bob Dole, the Republican politician. I don't know why. And just say Bob Dole. And so I got this 2.5-year-old kid to start calling me Bob Dole while I was tripping on mushrooms for the first time, and I lost it. It was hilarious. I played toys with him for like an hour, and it was just like I was a child again. I completely recaptured that sense of childlike joy and wonder and just contentness with the world. And after that, I started coming down, and we hung out. I ate a little bit, and I ended up the night talking to his stepdad, Rudy, about World of Warcraft while watching an old Bruce Lee movie that was on the cable TV in the living room while we were both crashing on the couch. So pretty wild experience. The loving myself thing that stuck with me, and the mushroom experience in general that radically changed me. A couple months later, I tried acid for the first time, and that's another story. But yeah, that mushroom experience was very profound, and it it opened me up, and it was very funny. Whenever I was depressed and anxious, as a teenager in middle school and even early into high school, I was picked on quite a bit. And as soon as I had my mushroom experience and I stopped caring what everyone else thought about me, and I knew that I loved myself and that was enough, all of a sudden within a year I was popular. It, kids that never gave me the time of day all of a sudden knew my name and wanted to hang out with me, and life just completely altered. And it was my first glimpse of your ability to consciously manifest the circumstances around you. And uh and psychedelic mushrooms helped me realize that, and self-love for the first time. So that's pretty much it. And Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you like this, please click subscribe and the notification bell to just see whatever crazy videos I happen to be putting out in the future. And y'all stay safe and God bless.